Hi, my name's Ian, and I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how to use the Sony NEX and just really get you the basics so you can start and make videos.
So first things first, to adjust shutter speed and aperture, all you need to do is press this little button. That'll get you either the shutter speed icon or the aperture icon. And the one in orange is the one you should worry about, okay? Or be concerned with. So just moving the dial clockwise will make your shutter speed faster, and moving it counterclockwise will make it slower again. Press the little dial to make it orange here, and you can make your aperture smaller. Now, a bigger number does mean it's smaller because it's a ratio, remember? And then moving it counterclockwise again will make it larger again. Alright, so moving on to ISO, and ISO is just a term for how sensitive your sensor is to light. You adjust that by pressing the little right-hand button on the dial, okay? So you press that and you get a nice little thing on the screen showing you what ISO you have, and adjusting it counterclockwise will make you have less ISO, while adjusting it clockwise will get you more. Now you notice it's different from the other ones because adjusting it clockwise gets a brighter shot, while adjusting it counterclockwise gets you darker, okay? Now the problem with ISO is that as you get it brighter, your image starts to get grainy. Okay, so you start to actually be able to see little grains or dots, and you should try this sometime. Go and take a video and film it at something like ISO 400, and then film the same thing at ISO 6400 or 25600, which is the maximum for this camera, and then just see the difference, and you'll see why you actually want to keep that as low as you can. Alright? Moving on to the center button. And the center button has a couple different settings that you can change, and the first one that you'll get is for focus, right? So you can see here we have manual focus or autofocus, and there are actually 3 different settings here, but I'm only going to talk about these 2. Now, autofocus is letting the camera decide on what to focus on. So if something is close, it might decide to focus on that, or if something is far, it might decide to focus on that. And as you can tell, it's pretty unreliable. So just like we learned how to manually set the general settings for the camera, I would recommend that you leave the setting at manual focus. Alright, so to set that, you don't actually need to press this button. All you need to do is press left button, or just leave it there. It'll stay there, but if you want to go back, press the center button. So to get to the next setting, press the left one, and this will get you to white balance. And white balance is just a term for how white is. It's a color balance term. So white can appear more blue, or it can appear more red or warmer. Okay, where blue is referred to as cooler and red is referred to as warmer, right? So when you go to this setting here on white balance, you can see it in orange there, you'll see this other piece on the right? And you can adjust that just by going counterclockwise or clockwise, and you can see how the color changes. It changes very dramatically. Now, you can put it on auto, right? But auto is, just as I was saying before, auto is letting the camera decide. So it can be unreliable, and it can change from shot to shot. So what I would recommend is using one of these settings like daylight or shade or cloudy. It has settings for different situations, or you can even go all the way manual and do a custom temporary filter. I don't know exactly why it calls it that, but it's basically white balance where you set the actual number. Okay, white balance comes in numbers, and this K stands for Kelvin. It's just a term for temperature, and the lower the number, the bluer it gets. You raise it higher by going clockwise, and you can see it gets redder and redder. You can't see too much red in the video, but you can see a little. And it's very different compared to the previous one, but you see the difference. So when you actually adjust the white balance, what you want to do is keep it as close to white as you can, generally. Because if you want a look, if you want a specific look, like you want it to be bluer or something like that, it's best to do that in post-processing, in editing. And you'll learn more about that later.
I hope this tutorial has been helpful to you, and although you can always learn more about a camera, this tutorial should have gotten you enough data so that you can actually go out and film.